make sure it starts. Well, welcome to Schenectady today, in and around the Capital Region. We're also Schenectady Capital Region today. So just to let you know, we're going to be having a great show today, amazing show, I should say. We're going to be starting out with Cap Rep. We're going to be talking about Blithe Spirit. Whoops, I guess he didn't get it streaming yet as he's running. So anyway, we're going to be talking about Blithe Spirit, which is going to be over at Cap Rep. It's Noel Coward's classic comedy. We're going to hear from some of the actors today. And then we're going to be talking with Angela Santa Barbara about Autism Action Day, which is going to be at the Viaport Aquarium. And then we're going to be hearing from the Thursday Musical Group, or Club, I believe they call it. And I just heard them before the show. They're amazing. They got great voices, and they're going to be singing a cappella today. And then we're going to find out about Italian tradition for Easter, and we'll be talking food, and which is one of my favorite topics. I love to cook, so it's I can't stop myself. And then we're going to be talking about a new initiative at the library, Repair Cafe. Bring anything that's broken, your jewelry, anything that comes up that you want to get fixed. Don't throw it out. Get it fixed, and they'll help you fix it, or if they don't fix it for you. And then we're going to be hearing again from the Thursday Musical Club. So we have a great lineup in our breaks today. We're going to continue on with the Cuban National Orchestra that appeared here at Proctor's a few years back, but they appeared here recently at the Troy Music Hall, I believe. So we're going to be hearing a little bit from them. But right now we're going right over to Cap Rep over in Albany at 111 North Pearl?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Got it right. And we're going to find out about the play. What a play.
Yeah, it is. It's a wonderful
Maggie
play.
Maggie Mancinelli Cahill here, and Eileen Schuyler. Right. And Benny Rabin. Right, got it. Good.
Yeah. So, so we're doing Noel Coward's classic comedy, Blithe Spirit, and you know it's a very funny, a very smart play about a man who has the unfortunate happenstance that he goes to a seance.
He gives a seance.
He gives a seance, you know, by the wonderful Madame Arcadi, his neighbor, right? And lo and behold, she materializes his dead wife, his first wife. Well, that's fine, except he's been remarried happily to Ruth, played by Brenny Rabine.
Yeah. Do you ever get to see her?
Yes, ultimately.
Don't tell the plot. Yes, she does, of course. Yes, you
know the story.
Well, we don't want to give everything away, but no, Brittany, go ahead. You do meet the wife, right?
I do, and what's so delightful is I don't see her for the longest time, and I completely disbelieve Charles.
You think he's getting a little...
I think all sorts of things, including that he has lost his mind. And so that's some of the delicious comedy of this, is watching this relationship, this marriage. And I think a lot of people are going to relate, even if they haven't had a ghost come back from the grave.
Yeah. I mean, how many times in life do you hear people say that, you know, you have to live with the past? Well, he's really living with the past, you know, because the past materializes in front of his very eyes.
And she's probably quite outspoken. But how did you come up to get her? I mean, are you the...
Well, I've
been
invited for all the wrong reasons. He's a writer. He's writing a mystery story about a homicidal medium, and he wants some tricks of the trade. And so he invites the local medium to come and give a seance at his house. And she has no idea. She thinks it's a serious business, and she's going to contact the past, and she does. And when she finds out that all this catastrophe has occurred, and she doesn't know how to fix it, it's a big problem, and she's insulted because she's absolutely serious. She's been a professional her whole life, and
he was taking it as a lark. That okay, let me just see how she does it.
Yes.
How does she make the table
says
move?
It's his own fault. It's his own fault. He should not have tampered with the unseen.
That's what they say. You got to be very careful.
That's right.
Yeah.
So she does everything she can to try to fix the situation, and
hijinks
occur.
So it looks like there's at least 4 in the cast, but how many are in the cast?
No, there are 6 in the cast. There are, you know, there's the husband, Charles, played by the wonderful Gary Lindemann, who has been on our stage couple times. And there is, of course, Brenny as his mortal wife, and then Von Perry, a really favorite
actress. She's amazing, isn't she? I like her
She
a lot.
plays the immortal Elvira. And then there's Madame Arcadi, and then John Romeo, who
I like John,
who has was a company member over at NIST for so long. He plays Dr. Bradman, and Elizabeth Henry plays his very, very true believing wife, and they come to the seance. And then there's a maid in the household.
Okay, so it's a good sized cast.
Oh yeah, and they're all extraordinary comedians. They're all very adept at the wonderful style, because Noel Coward is very bubbly and
I like Noel Coward. I mean, was an amazing writer. I'll say that.
He was an amazing writer, and in fact, I have told people that directing the Noel Coward reacquainted me with him and my respect for him. He wrote more than 50 plays.
I know.
His plays are still being done. And I particularly love The History of Blythe Spirit because he wrote it during the Blitz
really? I didn't realize that.
In London. His apartment had been bombed. It had been completely destroyed. And he felt like the country needed a lift. And so he wanted to write a play about ghosts that wasn't sad. And so he worked on the idea for a long time, and then when he actually sat down to write it, it took 6 days.
Really? That was fast. Imagine writing something like that in 6 days.
Yes, yeah. So it's pretty wonderful
stuff.
Now
I understand you extended your run.
Well, we were a hit before we opened. This is it's a popular play. People enjoy seeing, I think, Noel Coward and the incredible wit that he brings to his jokes, and the situation is very sparkly. And so we sold a lot of tickets, and it turned out we had we needed more seats, so we extended a week. So
isn't that a nice problem?
I can't believe it. I still can't believe it.
What a nice problem to have.
Yeah, the spirits were looking over us or something.
Oh, wait a minute. You must have been really good at this then, getting the spirits to...
I think...
Madame Arcadi.
Got away from me a little bit, let's put it that way. And she goes back to try to find solutions that fell into disuse in the 17th century. And in the 19th century, they believed this. She has all her books.
I just can't wait to see you, because I think that you probably have got this nailed.
She does.
She's these are all wonderful English titles.
Yeah.
She's
you're over the top. I think you're over the top, though, aren't you, with the part? I mean, because it's one of those parts you can really push, right?
She's a real English lady. There's a lot of literature where this type of lady who lives in the village and knows the vicar and goes to the greengrocer and grows herbs in her yard. She has the flagged passage with the rubber boots and the gardening clobber. And in addition to that, she's a writer. She writes children's books and funny memoirs, and she's met Charles at a soiree for fellow writers, and she takes herself extremely seriously.
I can't wait to see this. It's going to be
It's going to be great.
And
I just want to say before we have to go, because I know that our time is drawing near, but the actors on our stage, with the exception of Gary Lindemann, who comes to us from New York City, are all local professionals, and it's so absolutely drippingly pleasant for me to have this kind of caliber of professional actor on our stage who live in our area.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy that folks are going to come out and really help us celebrate this.
And I've always said, when they talk about, they come from New York, or they come from, and I go, wait, they have to come from somewhere. So they happen to come from Albany.
That's right. Yes. Yes. Yeah. So anyway, we're very excited about that.
Exactly. Yeah. So get your tickets, because I understand they're going fast, and fast and furious, maybe. I'm not so sure, but anyway, you will be enlightened, and you will be amazed
and charmed.
And charmed. How's that? Yeah. I can't wait to see it, and I'm going to be there in a couple of weeks, I guess.
All right.
But I can't wait to see it, because it's going to be fun. It's a great play, and Noel Coward, if you haven't really studied Noel Coward or heard some of his plays, take some time because they're fun to read even. I love to read plays, you know, put my own spin on it. So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Break a leg.
Thank you.
Right, good. We're going to take a quick break. And is Angelo here yet? Yes. Okay, good. We're all set then. Stay tuned for our next guest, Angelo Santa Barbara. And you were watching the Cuban National Orchestra, and they appeared here at Proctor's a while back. But anyway, I hope you're enjoying that. We'll hear it for the rest of the show. Excuse me. Right now I have Angelo Santa Barbara, and he's talking about a topic that's near and dear to his heart, autism.
Yes.
But we're talking about Autism Action Day.
Autism Action Day, yes.
And so this is really a great idea because it has to do with sensory, too much noise and things like that.
There's a number of issues that affect those, for those that are affected by autism. My son, as many people know,
he's such a great kid.
He was diagnosed when he was 3 years old, and we've been dealing with a lot of challenges that we share with a lot of people.
I appreciate that you do that. I really do, because it takes it out of the darkness.
Yeah, and I think it's important for people to talk about the challenges, and that's what Autism Action Day at the state capitol, we developed that. It's a special day where autism families, self-advocates, organizations, legislators all come together at the state capitol to talk about the challenges, talk about how we can make a difference through legislation or funding. There's a number of organizations that'll be there. This is actually our third annual event. And
That's wonderful.
And it's grown every year. It's gotten bigger and bigger. But I developed my Autism Action Plan in the State Assembly, which is a series of bills around helping those that are affected by autism. In New York State, there's more than 168,000 New Yorkers with developmental disabilities, and each of them face challenges, and we've been able to accomplish a few things with my Autism Action Plan. We developed a new statewide autism spectrum disorder advisory board.
Yeah, because there is a spectrum. You have Asperger's, you have all the different,
Yeah, and the new chair of that board will be speaking at Autism Action Day. I'll give the date. It's April 18th, 9 to 2 p.m.
So anyone can go to that to help.
It's open to anybody. They can come to the Capitol. We'll be in the Legislative Office building. Of course, with technology, if you can't make it, this will be streamed on Facebook and some other social media platforms. So even if you're not there, you can be there. But the important thing is that we hear from you. And the legislation that we have been able to accomplish and work on is from hearing from people. And it's
because you need that input.
And like you said, it's important for people to talk about it. April is Autism Awareness Month, and awareness has reached new levels. We are seeing autism talked about on the movie screen, on TV. We're seeing books written about it.
We're seeing TV series.
Exactly, TV series. I know Sesame Street has a special character that they developed, Julia, that's affected by autism. So we're seeing it in a number of places, but Autism Action Day is about taking that awareness now and turning it into action. We have legislators that come to this event, and they need to hear from the families in their district. And this is a statewide event. We have the Autism Society that attends, a number of organizations, NICID, a number of other organizations, Puzzles Bakery right here locally. Sarah Mae Pratt, she's a part of Autism Action Day, and that's an employment model where she employs people on the spectrum, something that we hope to take statewide to offer more opportunities for those affected by autism.
Exactly, and maybe they just need a little accommodation, but not, they're certainly workers.
There's more opportunity now than there's ever been before, and this is about keeping the momentum going, bringing people together. We have a number of guest speakers. I encourage you to attend if you can. If you can't, again, you can stream. You can watch it on Facebook live. We'll be streaming. There's going to be a number of events that we'll talk about there. We're going to be recognizing via Aquarium in Rotterdam. They're hosting their second Autism Action Day here in Rotterdam, and I want to put that out there. That's on April 8th at 9:30 a.m. Now, you talked about the sensory issues.
They need to register.
They can register on my website, so they can visit.
Because they need to know how many are coming, so it could be prepared.
There's a registration form on my website. They can visit.
It's free.
It's free. They can send me an email. What they do, we work with the Autism Society to make those special accommodations. As you said, sensory is an issue, so they're able to have special staff that's trained. They're able to have special. They lower the lights down. The sounds are lowered. They make all the special accommodations, and it's free to anyone affected by autism and their families. Last year, tremendous turnout.
That's great.
This is year number 2 and this is what Autism Action Day is all about. It's about inspiring others to not only to bring awareness, but to know there's 1 in 68. 1 in 68 are born with autism in the United States.
So we need accommodation, and when you look at it. I know my side tries to do autism.
Sensible science, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
And then I believe, and I'm not even sure, maybe I'm misspeaking, but I thought like Bow Tie or some of the theaters are doing that
there's
as well.
sensible movies, but there's more and more businesses now and organizations are starting to make these accommodations. They want everybody to be able to enjoy all that our community has to offer, and that's with the aquarium. There was some families that couldn't go when everyone else could go. So this is a special time for them to go. Again, April 8th, 9:30. It's a Sunday. You can register on my website and just fill in the blanks, and we'll put you on the list for you to attend that day. No charge to those affected by autism and their families.
Are you going to assign like times so that everybody doesn't show up at 9:30?
No, they have enough room. Everybody can show up at 9:30.
Okay,
we'll make sure.
Yeah.
But if people can make that event, but there'll be other events. We have our Duck Derby coming up in October.
That's always a great.
That's a big fundraiser that helps local families. More information will be out on that. But
they aren't real ducks, by the way.
This is all on my website. 2 quick initiatives we're going to be talking about Autism Action Day. When you come up, legislative initiatives. One is actually, hopefully will pass soon with the state budget, autism training for first responders, a statewide program. This is something that I've been working on for several years now that offers a statewide program that's a policy on how to identify signs of autism. As you know, encounters with those that are affected by autism can be misunderstood.
Well, and you hear about that.
Yeah.
That the police, and I'm not, if they haven't been trained and don't know, they may mistake what's happening.
Yep.
They think that the person is being aggressive when really they just don't understand what they're saying.
You're exactly right. And with my son, sometimes even asking a simple question like, what is your name, where do you live, it's difficult.
He's trying to process it.
He wouldn't be able to answer. He might not look you in the face. He might not be able to
so
make
now
eye
you think
contact.
they're hiding something,
and
they're
he
not.
may get scared and walk away. These are all things that our officers are looking for training. This program will do it. It'll do it statewide. So if you're traveling, the training will be in place for officers if there are encounters. But it's also not just for officers, also for firefighters. Because sometimes, like my son,
got to get somebody out of a building.
Yeah, my son. If you approach him, a special way you got to approach him, or he may run into the danger. So they want to have some training too. Our ambulance workers, they all are looking for training. This program, hopefully in a week here or so, will become a reality. I've been pushing for it for several years, and this year we've made the most progress. So we're going to be talking about that on Autism Action Day. We're also going to be talking about Project Lifesaver. We just heard of another incident where a 14-year-old boy with autism arrived to his school and wandered away from the school bus, never went into the classroom, and unfortunately it was a tragic situation. Project Lifesaver reduces the search for missing persons from days and hours down to minutes. We have it here in Schenectady County. It's technology based on special radio frequencies.
Oh, that's great.
A little bracelet that looks like this that can be activated if your child gets lost. Also for those.
So parents would get those bracelets on the kids.
Yep. Also for those with Alzheimer's, if they get lost, they can activate it. And
It has like a GPS.
And literally within minutes, they can find the person and bring them back safely. We don't want people wandering, especially in the cold. If they get lost, minutes can mean the difference between life and death.
Well, and then there's that whole serious thing, and maybe I'm wrong, but they say, well, they have to be missing over 24 hours. But I don't think that stands for...
With this program, if the sheriff's office is contacted, they deploy the lifesaver technology, and they begin the search right away.
Right away.
And there's no, it reduces the need for a massive search that could take days.
No, because you can just find it.
Yes.
Right? It's like having a chip.
It's very valuable technology. I have a bill in the state assembly that makes this a statewide program, because although we have it in Schenectady County, we have it in Montgomery County, we've been able to deploy it here, there's still thousands of families that don't have access to this technology. And it gives you peace of mind too. Some families won't travel. They won't go places because they're afraid. They're afraid. This gives you peace of mind.
Liberates them.
Quality of life. Also keeps it's the best way to protect our most vulnerable citizens. So we'll be talking about those issues and more on April 18th, 9 to 2. You can watch it on Facebook, and we hope to see you at the aquarium on April 8th and 9th.
Check it out. And if you know anybody who has a child or an adult with autism, please follow up on this, because this is important, and with working together, we can make it better.
Yep, any questions, they can contact me anytime. My office is right across the street, as you know, or they can call my office or send me an email.
Yeah, and he's got to go. He's got a meeting. Right, so good to see you, Angela.
Thanks, Ann.
We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to hear from the Thursday Music Club next. Stay tuned. We are, and we have an amazing a cappella group. Well, actually, they sing to music as well. But right now, I'm going to go over to Julie, and she is the. This is your mic, Julie. Julie is the director. So tell us a little bit about the group and how it got started.
We've been in existence since 1913.
You don't look that old.
It was started by the wives of GE executives, but of course over the years we've changed greatly. And we're, speaking of 100 years, our current project is part of the anniversary of women's suffrage, the New York State ratification in 1917. And we are very pleased to be doing some historical pieces in our upcoming concert, and also tying it into some activity that we had in Schenectady County as far as the women's suffrage movement.
Okay, so when is the event going to be?
It's Wednesday, April 11th at 7 p.m. and we're teaming up with Totally Pitchin' a cappella group at Schenectady County Community College.
Oh, nice, nice.
So we are going to be located at the Taylor Auditorium at the community college.
And that's at Schenectady County Community College.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's really a great venue, actually.
It is.
It's a nice auditorium. How many are in your group?
Well, we have about 25 singers for this particular concert.
Yeah, and so when you get together, is there always 25, or do you do it in small little groups, or what?
No, we usually have 25, sometimes up to 35,
Okay.
depending on the season.
And how can people join you if they'd like to sing?
They can just contact us. We have a website, tmcsingers.org.
And I think we have that up there, yeah.
Right, and we welcome people at any time. Well, we welcome women.
Yeah, well, women.
We're
Well,
all
of course,
women.
because you're a women's group. Yeah, just like the chorus that I have on, it's all men's chorus, you know,
Right.
so that works both ways. So what are you going to sing today?
Well, we've chosen two pieces from the British suffrage movement, written by a British composer, and they were premiered at Albert Hall in London in 1911. And another famous rendition was given at Holloway Prison in London when the composer had joined the suffrage movement, given up music for a couple of years, and was imprisoned with the activists.
Good for him.
And she,
I'm sorry.
Yes, apparently conducted the second song in the prison yard.
Oh, okay.
From the window, conducting with her toothbrush.
Okay, good.
So
what we're going to do is you're going to sing the first song, and then we'll come back later on and do the second one later on. Is that how we're going to do that?
The first song is more of an elegiac, sadder song because they are remembering the hardships endured by their fellow sisters, suffragettes.
And I do have to say, women that don't vote, because it's like a nuisance or it's raining today or whatever, remember the women that went before us, that chained themselves. They made sure that we have that ability to vote. Can you believe that they wouldn't give us the right to vote?
It's hard to believe now, but it took so long.
Yeah, I mean, what did they think? What were they thinking, right? So we're going to let you go ahead and sing. And I'm sorry, I'm just digressing. Take it away.
Behold the
say the harmony is absolutely gorgeous here. So, and we're going to hear another song from you at the end of the show. So thank you all for being here. And this is the Thursday Music Club, right? Club.
Thursday Musical Club.
Musical Club.
Yes.
Cool, cool. Got it. We're going to make sure we get that right when we put it on Facebook. So anyway, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be hearing a little bit from our next guest. Stay tuned. Okay, good. And here we are back again, and I have one of my favorite people on the show,
Thank you.
Professor Philip DeNovo, and he is the founder of the American Italian. I want to get that right.
Right.
American Italian Heritage, because we're Americans first.
Right.
Exactly. So we're going to be talking, first of all, maybe a little bit about the museum. If you haven't been there, it's an amazing museum, beautiful. Wonderful displays of dolls and all kinds of artifacts and paintings and you name it, all these little cubbies that you can go into. And we'll be talking with him about that. And also food.
Right.
Easter food.
And tradition.
Traditions. Yeah, tell me about your traditions.
Well, you know, Easter is the most important religious holiday of the year. And in Italy, it's a very religious holiday. And then there's a great deal of tradition connected with the holiday. And I think tradition is so important. In this modern technological world, we need to have stability and continuity, and that's what tradition is.
And it's good to learn about other traditions.
Yes, and we do a lot of that.
Yeah.
I've been building bridges for 39 years, and we learn from other cultures, and we enrich ourselves by that experience. But our traditions are special to us. They were handed down to us by our parents and grandparents, and now the challenge is, can we continue them and pass them on to another generation? That's one of the missions of our museum and our association, is to record and preserve our Italian heritage. And Easter's a wonderful opportunity to do that.
They do the palm weaving and thing?
We do palm weaving, and we had a class, and it was very successful, and it's a wonderful tradition, and it's dying out. So we found an instructor, and we have some wonderful examples of that in the museum, because in Italy, they're very intricate, the palm weaving.
It isn't just a braid.
No,
they do more than that. Yeah.
And there's some really great food with palm Sunday. I'll just give you one example. There's a pasta dish with walnut sauce on it. Many people have not tried that, but it is delicious. And every day leading up to Easter, there's a lot of tradition. Some of it's religious processions, and some of it is food. And we come to Easter, which is the most important holiday in the Christian calendar. And the Italians have done a beautiful job with that. Family is one of the most important parts of the tradition, to be with family. And I think that's important in our country because many people are not eating together as a family.
And if they do, they got something in their hand, right?
Well, I want to tell you about that because, you know, I give them the eye and put it away. There's plenty of time for that.
Some people put a basket on the table, and when they come in the house, all the phones go in the basket, and sorry, this is a no phone area. You can catch your phone calls afterwards.
That's right. I'm sorry to say that the inventor of the smartphone was an Italian American, and he just made.
Well, that was good. He was smart.
Yeah, he just made an apology, and one of the things that he said is, "I apologize for taking your children away from you." It's a great tool. We've just got to learn to use technology in its proper way.
Yeah.
But not only is it the actual meal, but there's the preparation and the coming together and preparing the food and preparing the recipes.
The family, when I was a kid, we would get together and make, if we're making raviolis,
Right.
we'd make the raviolis on the bed, you know, as though they would be all laid out there. But I have to ask you, Easter bread. See, I love Easter bread, and it's my favorite. And it's like I freeze it. I do, you know, I make a lot of it and freeze it. Do you make it with, because some people put the actual eggs and braid it and put the eggs around it, and I think we have a photo of that somewhere. Oh, they've got the Wandi up there.
And that's very popular too. But the Easter bread is terrific. There's many kinds, but definitely I think the egg is an important symbol because it represents the resurrection.
Well, spring and birth.
And the Greeks used red eggs, and they brought that to Italy, and red egg is a great symbolism, too, of blood. So there's a lot of symbolism with the crown. That's what it is.
Yeah, they make a crown, and they put the eggs
all around. And then there's other kinds of Easter breads as well. There's many different kinds. There are many pies, which Italy is very famous for.
We were talking earlier about the show because we always made three. We made the ricotta, we made the wheat, and pizza gang.
Right.
Yeah.
And no calories.
No calories in any of that. But we love the ham.
And what the interesting thing about it is that Italy is a land of great diversity. From one town to another, there are traditions that may not be present in another town. So when it comes to food, a lot of Italian Americans will say, I never heard of that, I've never seen that, I've never eaten that. That's the exciting part about our culture, that you can go around the globe and have a different food for a different season. And in Italy, there are a lot of other recipes for Easter. There are tremendous cookies. Iwans is another one.
The one that it has to do with the hand.
Right.
That means the hand, right?
Iwan.
And because you make it, I used to love to make those. My mother would let me do the thing, you know, and then we deep fry them.
Notice the memory you have?
Oh, yeah.
Memories are very important.
Yeah.
And those are the things that we want to leave with our children and grandchildren, that they remember. We just celebrated St. Joseph Day, and that's a very big day
on
in
the
our
19th
museum.
of February,
And my cousin said, oh, how I miss my mother making sphinx. And I used to think, as soon as I heard that, I could smell the oil on her coat for weeks afterwards. But those are memories that she has. She's a grandmother now, and she's remembering what her mother did. So when we keep these traditions and our customs alive, we have, again, that continuity, and we have that wonderful sense of being. And Italian Americans ought to be very proud of their culture, and their heritage is a very rich one. And we share it with everyone. At the museum, we'll be having an Easter bake sale.
Now tell me about that, because do they have to order ahead of time? Or I mean, will you have some?
We encourage them, but we'll still have some.
You'll still have some to sell. And what are you going to have there? Because, you know, these are the traditional stuff. What?
We're going to have,
and if you've never tried any of it, go over there and get some.
Right. It's going to be this Friday and Saturday at the museum. The hours on Friday are 11 to 2 and Saturday from 11 to 3. We're going to have ricotta pie, ricotta wheat pie. We're going to have a ham and cheese pie. We're going to have all kinds of Easter breads. We're going to also have from Sicily a very interesting tradition. It's called egg in the basket. It's a cross over the egg in a dough basket.
Oh, sounds cool.
It's called papalova, and
that's a Sicilian?
Yeah, and that's the tradition that I carry on.
Okay.
A lot of work. There's a lot of work with these. There's no shortcuts.
There's a lot of work. There's no shortcuts with making any of these Italian pies. Now, I mean, when we talk about a pie, you think like, you know, it's like a strawberry, you know, rhubarb pie or something. No, these are thick. At least when we made them, they were like that. You make them in a spring pan. And there's not a lot of dough, but there's a little dough around it. And then you cut it and you make little pieces. You don't eat a big slice of it. You just
very rich.
Very rich.
Some of the pies resemble cheesecakes. So if you have seen a cheesecake, some of them resemble that. But the The idea of the bake sale is to keep the tradition alive and to raise money for the museum. And people from all over come. I remember when we used to do it in Utica, where our first museum was, some of the people from Albany came all the way to Utica because a lot of people don't have the time, or they don't know how to make these things.
No, it takes a while to make it. You're not going to bake this like I get up in the morning and say, oh, I think I'll make it. First of all, you need all the ingredients there, and you got to get the wheat. The wheat's hard to find sometimes because you use the bulgur wheat to do it, and you have to soak it. I mean, there's a lot to it, but I love this stuff.
Well, I'm hoping that you set a good example because it's so good, number one. Number two, it's tradition. And number two, I think it's a sense of accomplishment. And also, you're passing this on to another generation. You're enriching the young people because they need this. I think in this technological age,
you need a root.
We need, and this is what we're all about, roots.
Good. Good. We've been talking with Professor Philip DeNovo, and he's with the American Italian Heritage Museum. They're over on Central Avenue in Albany area. Go over there, and on Friday and Saturday you can pick up some good treats and learn a little bit about the Italian. But if you're an Italian, you know what you're getting. You're going to get some good stuff there anyway. But do it and visit the museum and visit it often. There's a lot. They have wonderful programs. They have movies and they have discussions and
lectures,
cooking classes. I mean, there's so much going on. Please, you don't have to be Italian to go. But you can be. You can have that Italian.
We have members who are not Italian, and it's the largest Italian American museum in the East. So that's worth coming to see.
Come to see it. Yeah, bring a group. Go.
Buona Pasqua.
Happy Easter to you, dear. Good. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about the Repair Cafe. Stay tuned. And here we are back again, and this is such a great idea. I can't tell you how excited I am to have a repair cafe. Think about that. How many things do you have at home that you don't know how to fix? You know, does it need a bigger screw? What does it need? This gentleman here, Dave West, is leading up a repair cafe, and it's being held at the Schenectady County Museum, and that's over on 99 Clinton. And with it, I have Leah LaFera, and she is the Adult Services librarian. And with her, she's brought Dave West. Tell me about the program.
Yeah, so repair cafes have existed for a little under 10 years. They were started by a woman named Martine Postma in the Netherlands.
Okay.
And ever since then, they've kind of grown and are in lots of countries across the entire globe.
Yeah.
And it really started from this sustainability in your community of
don't put it in the trash, fix it.
That's correct. Don't throw it away, let's fix it together.
Yeah.
And the library came on board because our wonderful volunteer Dave West has been working with the Hudson Valley Repair Cafe as a repair coach, and there wasn't one up this far north, and Dave brought this great idea to us, and of course we jumped on board.
What was the most unusual thing you had to repair?
Most unusual would probably, and the most fun would have been a 30-some-year-old variable speed cassette player for a hearing and visually impaired gentleman who was in his 90s. And the thing was, unique in that it had a variable speed apparatus that allowed it to be, you know, you could change the speed of the playback.
Yeah, okay.
And they're not built anymore. And he had a whole closet full of books on tape.
And he wanted to hear them.
And he wanted to hear them. And he needed to have these things for, you know, that was his way of communicating and just
enjoyment.
Really,
enjoyment.
Yeah, it was his enjoyment. And, you know, the point of the Repair Cafe is to be able to show somebody how to do things themselves.
Exactly. You don't want to do it for them. You want to be able to say, you know, what is it? Teach a man to fish?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I said, well, do you have alcohol and Q-tips in your medicine cabinet at home? He said, well, sure. I said, well, then you're in luck. We can fix this, and you can too. And he didn't look very enthusiastic at first, but I showed him how to clean the tape mechanism out, and I said, do you have a nail file? And he said, yeah. I said, well, okay.
Here we go.
Here we go. And, you know, with those 3 items, which are pretty common household items, we're able to get the old thing working perfectly. And he brought a tape with him, and when we got it done, plugged in the tape, played it, and he had this thing held over his head, and he danced around the room playing the tape to applause with all the other people in the room, just, you know, having a great, they all joined in. It was a terrific moment.
What a great idea, though.
It was my first Repair Cafe in Phoenicia.
Okay.
Down in the Catskills. And it got me hooked.
Well, see, I'm one of these people. I always take things apart. I try and figure out how did it work, you know, and kind of look at it. And I had trouble with my printer. The ink was all jammed up. I found out I could take that all apart, take the tray out, bring it downstairs, wash it with soap and water, dry it off, stick it back in again. It worked perfect. And here I was thinking, oh, I might need a new printer. No, wait a minute. I ought to be able to figure this one out. Yeah. And that's what people need to do. Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
And we're very excited that this Repair Cafe, which is our very first one, we have a lot of different repair coaches, but we're also doing a very special sort of bicycle theme
I
too.
saw that. Yeah, we have photographs.
So we have the Electric City Bike Rescue. We're going to be there.
Those guys are great.
Awesome, repairing. We also have Martin Harding and Mazzotti are going to be giving away a limited number of free bicycle helmets for kids.
Oh, that's great.
We have a smoothie bicycle. So this woman makes smoothies, and it's all bicycle powered. So another kind of cool thing.
I was trying to process this.
It's a complex thing to explain. And we also have the Schenectady County, or the Schenectady City Police Department are going to be there doing bike safety as well.
And this is going to be on the 14th?
Yeah, April 14th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the McChesney Room at the Central Library. Ample parking. We are limiting to 2 items per household because we're
well, you can walk in with a box.
Not sure what to expect.
No gas engines, please.
No gas engines?
Yes. So
speaking of gas engines, I want to compliment the library on having the place you can pull in your electric car and plug it in.
Thank you. Yes. That was something Schenectady County brought to us, and people have been using it.
I know.
Like crazy.
The first time I drove in, and I thought, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
I had to walk over and look because I'm looking at it because it's got this little tether with it plugged in the back of the car. And I'm going, what a great idea.
Yes.
What a service.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Charge your car while you're stopping and
while
getting
you're
your
getting
books.
your something fixed.
That's correct. There you go.
Yeah. So you can fix almost anything. I mean, you have you're not personally going to fix them, but you can at least instruct them how. Like a loose table leg, you can tell them what to do, whether to use a putty or whether.
It's all going to depend on the repair coaches that we have in each event, and that'll vary depending on the volunteers.
Okay.
You know, and some of the things that we may get, I mean, down the road, it'll all depend on who we have. Other, repair cafes in the Hudson Valley have got different types of activities that we may someday get. I mean, wordsmithing happens in one of the repair cafes where they actually have sentence repair.
Sentence repair, that sounds good to me.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I could use that sometimes. Ask my wife.
I just want to mention that he's been in the paper, so it's not like this gentleman is an unknown, but I read about him in the paper, and I was so impressed with what I read. I don't know if they can catch any of that, but these are 2 articles that were in there, and you can certainly have copies of this. You're from Niskayuna, and you just have a wonderful outlook on life as far as repairing. To me, you know, I grew up in an era where you didn't throw things out, you tried to reuse them, think of a new way to use them, or, you know, if you had a jar, you used it to put your coins in, or you used it to put your, you know, nuts and bolts in, whatever it is, but you didn't continually throw things into the waste stream. And we're finding that this stuff does not go away.
Yeah, absolutely. I grew up I was born in Oregon, and I've lived in many states around the country, obviously. And, you know, my grandfather had a very deep, belief in recycling before that word ever came into
That was at my house.
It was like, oh, you don't buy a new nail if you got.
Oh, you hammer out the nails. Oh my gosh, I still do that.
You straighten out the nails you've already got, and they hold better.
They do.
Because they've got character.
They're tempered.
And you know, it takes a better carpenter to drive in a nail that's been straightened than it does brand new nail from the store.
Well, especially when you got nails this long, I can't throw those out. I have to straighten those nails out. I'm glad to hear somebody else does that. I thought that was one of those things. But anyway, but if you've got something, go on down. And even if you don't have anything, you might want to go in and just kind of watch and see what they're doing. Maybe you'll learn something. You don't have to bring something in to learn, right?
Yeah.
You can learn how to do it.
That's the whole point. We don't know if we're going to be able to fix what you bring. There's no guarantees. It's about a 70%, 30% breakout historically over the last 10 years with things that get successfully repaired. The good news is that's pretty good, you know, compared to throwing things directly into the landfill.
Yeah, yeah.
And we're going to have the Schenectady County Recycling and Cornell
they're great. They're great. Yeah, yeah.
They're going to be there.
And
they're going to be handing out information about recycling properly and responsibly.
Good.
Yeah, so they'll help you people that have a need, and it'll be good. We will, have some limited materials on hand for the most common items to be repaired, which would be
glue,
lamps, and vacuums.
Oh, yeah.
And wooden items like table legs and chairs and that kind of thing.
Good. Well, if you got something, go over to the library on the 14th and at least go to enjoy and watch. I think that'll be the most fun. And then maybe you'll be able to take home some of that to your own home and start fixing things. Don't throw it out. You can fix
we
it,
can
right?
help you learn.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's the most important thing that we're going to be doing, I think, in many ways.
Teaching.
Is helping people learn, because they are required to stay.
Good. Well, good. We got to keep them to learn.
It's not a drop-off service.
Okay, no, they got to stay there and do it, right?
They got to stay there and watch at least.
We're going to take another quick break, and we're going to hear from the Thursday Musical Club, and they're going to be singing another song. I won't do any more. And while I'm going to tell you who's going to be on next week, because I need to do that right away. And before they come on, and the guests next week, we got a great show next week too. Oh my goodness, we just keep on going. I'll tell you, our guests next week are going to be Amazing Cakes. The woman who makes these amazing cakes that are they are amazing. That's all I can say, and we're going to hear about her. The Art Deco Trio is going to be performing here on our stage. Proctor's Historical. We're going to talk about women empowerment. And taxes, our final update. So take it away, our break, and we're going to have the Thursday Musical Club on right now. Stay tuned.
my faith.